So we saw the class for revision, and for those that were not in the class, we saw the class by telling us that if you don't know what you are, what something is like, in C1, you can never tell by it is. So our definition and concept of leadership is part of the problem. Why you cannot find true leaders. So why you cannot find true leaders is because our concept, our philosophies of leadership has been a major challenge. Most powerful leaders are not true leaders. The most positional leaders are not true leaders because most of them are professional manipulators. They threaten people, they force people, they oppress people. Because true leadership is not about control, it's about service. True leadership is not about power, it's about empowerment. True leadership is not about manipulating people, but about inspiring people, influencing them. That's the concept of true leadership. So it's about purpose. True leadership is about becoming more, so you can do more to have more. So politics without principles produce deal makers and not true leaders. Deal makers are more interested in the next election, while true leaders are more interested in the next generation. So I'm going to say, what do I pass to the next generation? What succession plan, what legacy will I leave behind? True leaders, political leaders are more interested in pleasure without conscience. Political leaders are more interested in wealth without work, without effort. These are traditional leaders. Traditional leaders, most of them are not true leaders. So what if you don't need a title to lead, you don't need a position to lead. Everybody can lead. We have all it takes to lead. Because if you focus on political leaders, they are leaders with knowledge without character, business without morality, of course, science without humanity. So it's a challenge because when the concept of leadership fails or is not correct, it affects every other thing because everything rises and falls on leadership. So how do we manage to come to this point in life whereby we now lose morals in terms of when we are occupying some position, some level of authority, being the seat of greatness? It started from the Roman Empire. We came into the source of the modern day leadership. This Roman Empire took the source from the Greek. The Greek were the ones who actually invented the word democracy. They were later have philosophers like Aristotle, like Plato, like Socrates, which formulated the philosophy of leadership and that created the democracy. So we get a brief history how it happened. When the Roman Empire invaded the Greece, the Roman Emperor told his soldiers not to touch their library because the Greeks asked they were known for the library for study, and the Roman Emperor studied the Greek library and just knowledge that would favor him to live and rule the whole world. So the Roman Empire, they actually Greek in their pages, in their thinking, but they were actually Romans in their fighting, in their military. So the colonization of the African countries started from when the Roman Empire were destroyed, what I call self-destructing but with immorality. Out of 14, Caesar is the king. He made the title given the son of a god ruling the world. So out of 14 Caesar, who ruled the Roman Empire, that is the Roman Emperor, 12 of them were homosexual. And that was where the destruction started from. And it's gave way to what we see today as Britain, as France, and Belgium. And this was the men that colonized Africa. Liver was agricultural age. They came to Africa and they use the philosophy of Aristotle and Plato to tell us that leadership, that was what gave into misconception of leadership. So the leadership definition was that a leader is a product of natural endowment. That means if it's somebody with a white pigmentation, with a long hair, with a pointed nose, with a blue eye, that person was naturally created to become leaders. So that have a black skin like me, and who doesn't have a long hair, my nose is wonderful, and I was meant to be a servant. So that's why they came to Africa. They were like, wow, God has blessed us. We have seen men that will serve us. That was what they started buying on as slaves, inflicted us. And the African men also believe this thing. And that is where the problem started. And some God looked at themselves and said, I'm not a leader because of the philosophy they gave us. And that was totally wrong. It's called leadership misconception. It's not a product of natural endowment. Everybody has the potential to lead. Everybody has the raw capacity to lead. All of us can lead and succeed at any. It's not about your pigmentation, your long nose, your hair. It's not about that. We don't let anybody deceive you. Touch yourself, say, I'm a leader. I am a leader. So they also came with a lot philosophy that was a misconception. And also it's a lot of birth trait. And also it's a lot of providence. That means God created some people to lead and some people to follow. That was a wrong misconception. It's not true. All of us can lead. God gave us dominion. He said, be fruitful. He blessed and said, be fruitful. Do multiply, replenish, subdue, and take dominion. That is was designed by God to dominate, to become fruitful, to become. But these guys, the philosophers, the Greek philosophers, wrote a wrong misconception. Even used to wrote one time and said that anybody you see that have a fake pigmentation, a thin lip, pointed nose, blue eyes, blonde hair, were chosen by God to lead. So this Greek and the Roman beliefs it convinced them to come to Africa to colonize us, pick our forefathers. And even though you are studying as a black man with a black pigmentation with PhD, they still see you like a very smart slave. They don't recognize you because in their philosophy, in their mind, that was they were not meant to be. So what they did was that this ideology they make it a theology to make it legal. So it was a long class. We discussed so much. And they said one of the big misconception is that they also define leadership as a charismatic personality. If someone is an extroverted person, can communicate effectively, can talk, they define you as a leader. That is not true. You can still lead as an introvert. You can still lead even when you're not a talkative. You can still because what it takes a man to lead is already embedded in you as raw material. So in fact, it was a big challenge. And then you now start seeing that we have to learn to start discover the original leadership philosophy. So he said that trapped in every person is a hidden leader. All of us that God created, we created to lead and designed to have dominion. Leadership resides in every individual. So you can destroy yourself and you see yourself as a leader, you take the responsibility. But leadership about responsibility. And definitely you are all born to lead. I was born to lead. I will not become a leader. So true leadership is self-manifestation. So the purpose of leadership is to produce other leaders and not to maintain followers. So we discuss so much to the point we start talking about we need to spend time in the mirror to define yourself. So leadership don't seek followers because followers are attracted to leadership gifts. So we discuss, I don't want to go to that one today. We discuss so much that we start about the principles of leadership. We're supposed to discuss leaders are more concerned about expressing themselves than proving themselves. Leaders are individuals who are declaring independence from the expectation of other people. Leaders don't really claim for others in their own way. They desire to help, teach, train, mentor, coach, inspire people to deploy their abilities. So be your be your be yourself, and being yourself is the face is where leadership begins. So leaders are authentic, they are not jealous because they're not in competition with anyone. Leaders are not um, leadership is not about ability to, it's not about physical ability first, it's more of mentality first. So what you think is more important than what you do as a leader. So yesterday we start discussing about time the lot because you need character to build your empire. Because most of us as young as in leadership position, as a father, as a mother, as a choir mistress, as a head mistress, head usher, as a pastor, a bishop in your village, in your church, in any organization, most of us may have misconception and it's a big problem with the character issues. Character issues allow immorality to come into your business, to your empire, and destroy the business on its own. It's something like carrying a bad apple and put in the midst of good apple. It's just a matter of time to destroy all the apples. So I'm decided to talk about the spirit of true leadership. That's what we start yesterday. The spirit of true leadership. 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 The spirit of I don't know, it's not the way it's meant. Let me get the line of here. The spirit of true leadership. The spirit of true leadership. I mentioned as it's in the first one we mentioned was the spirit of strong self-image. So you must have a very, very strong and healthy self-concept. You must have a strong self-concept. So you must have self-concept. The way you think about yourself as a leader, and then sometimes you have a long thinking, and you don't think like a leader, it becomes a problem. Because that's where your source of ideas come from. So number two, mention the spirit of self-image, the spirit of strong self-image. The way you feel, the way you see yourself, the way you see yourself. The main picture you have about yourself, the mental picture you know about yourself is very important. So the way you think, the way you see yesterday, we also talk the spirit of self-esteem, the self-esteem, the way you experience yourself, the way you self-worth, esteem, experience, your self-worth, your experience, your self-worth, your desire, your knowledge, your resource. So it also when you talk about that you believe that inherently you believe that you see your potential will come. So in our form, you mentioned the spirit of self, of course, significance. So significance. So that you're not going to just come and become successful, you invest in other people. You help other people, your success, you help others to succeed. To succeed. So we discuss, I think that is where I stop. Did I mention number five? Move on. I said the spirit of purpose. The spirit of purpose. The spirit of purpose. So we said that purpose is beyond passion. Like you make it, you will actually make sure that you contribute valuable contributions within the world. That's the purpose. You have to create, connect, and contribute. It's our contribution. I want to see that I put it valuable contribution to the world. Valuable contribution to the world, to the society, to your business, to your family, to the world. The world that you are born with, you will precisely find yourself. Anyway, anybody that gets in touch with you, his life will improve positively, not negatively. So you move with the sense of purpose. You try to say, this is what I'm going to create, I'll connect, and I'll contribute. So we always define purpose as three things because some people don't know their purpose on it. As for what's purpose, they say, I don't know. What God said I will be, I will be. I don't know why I'm here. God just brought me on earth. I don't know what I'm mother than after that. I just manifest it. Really, appreciation. The purpose is that what was that the purpose you create and create? You create mental and emotional thoughts. Then you connect and connect. Connect to people and we contribute and contribute. Purpose is direct contribution. Take some time to create it. So you use your money to create creating means mental and mental mental and strength of thoughts. And then of thoughts in a sequential order of events to create that. So you see that and link your thought in a sequential event. So people they desire outcome. Once you can say, okay, my own thing, come and create this thing to and let it be the purpose of that thing to contribute to people. That once you start creating, your hand can start manifesting, you connect to people contribution. We stopped at number 5 yesterday. Yes or yes? So number 6 now. You can see the nation my enemy is wonderful. Don't trust him, say I'm a success. Yes, that's it's coming up right now. Don't trust him, say I'm a millionaire. I'm do better than that. Don't trust him, I'm a millionaire creator. So I have to start from number 6 today. I don't know where I should play from up from that. We really got wrong. We got wrong with you there. And we can now use for up because about 12 of them. Yes, 12. So it's a lot. Okay. Number 6, let's start from number 6. The spirit of um the spirit of excellence, the spirit of excellence. Okay, so striving always to improve yourself and anything connected to you, all yourself and also that um striving to improve yourself, and what so whatever I'm willing to whatever that will help you to become the next because life is in phases, men in sciences. So I've done one today, tomorrow I will do two. Next one I will do three, I will do four. So always trying to make sure whatever given to you, you do it excellently because the way you do anything is the way you do everything. Always trying to improve yourself and your work. Not to say, okay, since we started producing this changing, you only put in one Ghana. You're not about reaching your company is corporate affairs commission, not that branding it. You don't want to take it to the next level. You remain a local champion, remain a community. Whatever you're doing, always seek for improvement. What you're doing, seek to always improve your work. Don't just stop at that level. Say, I've tried now. I'm better than other people. Don't compare. This is part of leadership. The true leaders don't compare. True leaders will think about to improve, how to make impact. So if you think about that, your empire will be better. That is strong character. Because we need to think of how to get something better, how to improve yourself and other people and everything. So you try to become excellent. Don't just accept average. Don't accept average because average is the wrong place to be. See, the thing is that either either you are growing or you're dying. So if you sit down the fence, you start the game. It is a lot called a lot of entropy. Anything left to be said will start to deteriorate. So excellence is very good at okay, I have 5 people in my team. I need to improve myself and improve them. This work is given to me. I was taking to the next level, to the next level. So that number 7 is spirit of compassion. Spirit of compassion. The spirit of compassion. So and you are sensitive to the value of other people. Sensitive to the value, sensitive to the value of other people, to the value of others. So whatever someone value, we see that you have compassion, you have empathy. Like the story of the good Samaritan. This one came and did not carry the person away. This one carried him, take him to the hospital, pay the bills, take care of him. Who did the good work? The one that actually asked. Whenever you see people in need, whenever you see, because one day God will ask us for account of how we spent our life on earth. We say I was sick, you not come and see me. I was hungry. I was in a prison. I would say, God, where were you? I would have come and said, the way you go to this people, you have done it to me. So that spirit of always seeking to add value to other people, having compassion, trying to help someone come out of wherever difficult moment is fine. Even though it's not money, everything is not money. Some things can be hidden. Some people just someone just need your ear to just to vomit his anger, his bitterness, just to talk. That's why you see the best way to build a business is a mastermind strategy. We have the inner circle where they can always talk to you, they can always confide with you, but that will help them that put a close circle because one of the big challenge of an entrepreneur once we build business empire is that most of them their challenges they cannot share to people because most people don't understand entrepreneurship because their burden is different from the burden of the employee. Their burden is different because you are practically going to pay everybody who's working for you. That is people are going to depend on you on survival. True, you will pay house rent, take care of your family. That is why you need a master, you need a mentor because mentorship really short term resources. So you can just have compassion when you have your own burden. You have your own burden and you're taking on someone else. It's going to be you got now receiving that one the spirit of true leadership. It becomes impossible to do that. And leadership is easier when you see someone else do that which you want to do because monkey see monkey do yes. All of us are social creatures. We learn faster by observation. Tell us humans are social creatures. We learn faster by what? Observation. We learn by observation. I had a very wonderful experience yesterday. Today was yesterday, so my wife gave me a breakfast. So me and my son, my last one, we just eat in the dining table. So me, I did one bad habit. And I carry one full egg. There were two eggs there. So I cut his phone and put part of the phone in his mouth. Me as a father, I did one bad habit. Carry the full egg, put in my mouth. So the boy observed me, he's munching the egg. So yesterday morning, they put two eggs for me and the boy. The boy carried his own and put in his mouth. I could not eat. You could not eat the thing. You buy more than you can chew. So my wife said, have you seen? You have taught this boy now bad thing now. You taught him because the boy observed him yesterday. Okay. Do that thing now today. He's not doing it. After he said, I don't know the boy do the boy only observe me. And the boy can't his own and put his about. So you cannot eat, you have to totally pour everything out. So human beings learn faster by observation. I tell you, say, that's to follow you guys. The way I really will do what you do more than what you say. You tell them, do this, and you're doing the back one, they will do follow that back one you're doing. I see the boy, what is the talk to? He just observe Papa, do one thing, he follow me do am. Whether I did not actually tell him, this is what to do, I got time. Give him a phone, small. For me, I can't open my mouth, the boy just observe me. And I just chop the thing. I just say, okay, you're very glad. Glad. So let me yesterday morning. And they bring the two again. You know wait for me again. Okay. You just carry hand get everything down. Two for hours. My wife shouting says, see what I've taught this boy that. They might not be by the man don't food. So you look at me, look at the mom, yeah, just come out a bit. So you are telling now, you stupid boy, that. The boy have not even learned. If I want to read, I must sit down and read. My children read. If I want to pray, I must sit down and pray. My students join my children join me to pray. Anything I want my children to do, I will do it. Imagine my children see me meeting my wife now. What is it they do? They just learn that you should when they marry, they should also be their wife. If my children, if anything I include in the front of my children, they are learning. What I tell them you need to learn this or not, they observe, they will do exactly the same. In fact, even more, they will do it. So I didn't see the problem human being. The human being is that if I tell human being now, you need to build your empire with character. And I define character as keeping your worst for others. As you may keep your worst for yourself, it's called integrity. The people that don't have integrity cannot have character. Because you cannot keep your word to yourself. Integrity is that you keep your word to yourself. Integrity. You keep your word to yourself. When you did that your word to other people, character is for others. I tell myself I'm going to brush my mouth, and I brush my mouth. That means I have integrity. I will eat, I eat, I will read, I read. I will do anything I say I will do. That is integrity. But if I give that my words to you, I say I'm coming tomorrow. I'm coming at 2 o'clock. I'm eating. If I give that words to you and I keep that word, say, okay, I'll give you this phone when you come. I'll give you your shop, we don't that. If I keep my words to you, it's called character. It's not character. Character. If I don't have integrity, cannot have character. But cannot be good character. So the thing is this: what you do to others is very important. Because in front of them, you cannot build an empire people, they will sabotage and destroy everything in front of. So entrepreneurs who want to build successful business must remove immorality. This is the whole thing. They are pushing all these people connect the dots because this is the one. This immorality is called self-destructive God. What I call it, self-destructive God. It is God, B-U-G, God. God. So it's something that eats leadership. That I not accept immorality in my business, in my family. It will sink the ship. It's like a ship where they go. Water they enter and just give it time. The ship will sink. So the problem is not the water around you. The problem is the water inside the ship. So if you allow immorality enter inside the leadership, it will come from top to bottom. You can say, "Look, hey, stop this." But imagine me as a pastor. I'm not a pastor. I'm a pastor. I call the name of the church. Lord, God loves you, came to die for you, redeem you from that to the son, give your life to Christ, forget immorality, forget what they call that one. Adults, no, this fornication and adultery. Fornication is for young people, adultery is for married people, right? And some people after service, I come calling one sister, only that thing finish. Now, when I come on Sunday, I come on my they start going to do like this, pastor. Pastor, okay, that pastor, if I imagine this community now, I don't marry wife, I don't come keep my people in one place. I come my spaces, come here. Tomorrow I do my church. I get married though. They know they fear God, they will see my. Yeah. I tell you, this will destroy the whole leadership program. So the problem with immorality is that it doesn't look as if it's a problem, but it becomes a problem as it grows. No sin grow. You know, when sin don't grow finish, you give birth to death. That's the problem with this thing. So a leader, people that must mount a person of leadership must sit down to ask himself, God, give me the spirit of self-concept. Give me the strong spirit. That you know something you need to want. Say you need to pray for this thing because you don't pray for this thing, it's a problem. Because leadership will be under your hand. What do you use your hand to? You use your hand to laugh. Okay, imagine we come people for swimming pool where I will follow swim, or come for swimming pool where I will follow bath. It don't make sense now. Yes. That's what I'm trying to say. But this is humble leadership in family, in business, in church, in everything. Okay, then my secretary come to do me, yeah, my secretary. I don't know, they are uncle and say, you doesn't even go down. That's the problem. The problem of this, okay, that my house head on the wrong shoe. My wife one day. You not gonna respect my wife I have to start with. Yes or yes? Yes. So the way that and kill my wife to take information of my wife. You know listen this like so immorality is a problem and you cannot solve immorality as because it's a fail of food. So you start the solving immorality problem as roots because they I like to write. I'm not taking finish one with I stand up myself. The root of immorality is the eternal belief. Belief. The fruit is what is still in the eternal behavior. Behavior. So you cannot stop it. You cannot stop it at the point of you cannot stop. You're dying. Let me use the supermarket. Stop. Don't behave like that. Don't behave like that. It will not work. You don't solve fruit, mango fruit by mango fruit. You go to the root of the matter. Talk about it. To tell you something like I'm teaching now. Let's understand the price, the cost, the consequences of accepting immorality is a problem. It will destroy generation, it will destroy family, it will destroy for that's business, top to bottom. So let's look at number eight. Let me get that down so that we can discuss something very important to do. You are still mentioned which of them? The matter. I don't know where I dropped it. I wouldn't look at it. I think it's going back. So I don't think it's really fish. You can now go to think of it and don't think about and I'm going back. So, when you need to have a picture of what way you're going to, you need to job fix it for you. The Lord will say, okay, now I'm telling you this now. What do I do? Don't worry, I'll show you what to do. Number eight. Number eight, the spirit of creativity. The spirit of creativity. Okay. So this is a belief, okay? A belief in untested and untried idea. A belief, in untested and untried untried ideas and concepts. So so the thing is that you just sit down to you have an idea or concept you have not seen anywhere, but you believe. It's work for you. Like this marker was someone's idea. The shoe was someone's idea. The clothes, the chairs was someone's idea. But this contested is on track. But they believe it. It's creativity. Like a guy look at the wall and say, "Are you supposed to fly on the sky?" He believe that you fly and start working. Bicycle repairers, the white brothers. One they don't invent aircraft. Some people invented phone, shoe, car. They believe this thing now. If they believe that, and you always still use your mind to find idea. You don't even have time for immorality. You don't have time. Why what will happen to mention that if they are not thinking, they are not creating, they are not trying something new. It's a problem because an idle man is a devil's workshop. So when you believe that it can be done. It makes failures is not a problem. I am necessary for making it done. I am significant. I can create a community. I can build an enterprise. So you know the spirit of a true leadership. That true leaders always find things to create to leave the place better place than it. Number nine, the spirit of self empowerment. Number nine, the spirit of self empowerment. Self empowerment. So this is about a desire to see the desire to see yourself um doing better and people around you. So if you think about how to empower yourself with desire, it's about the desire. It's about the strong desire. The desire to see yourself, to see yourself succeed, to see yourself succeed in others. So when you guys have to think about all these things, 24 hours don't pass, you don't pass. You know, devil will not be space again. But if you don't know what to think about, it becomes an issue over time. So the spirit of self-improvement, a personal commitment to growth, the spirit of the spirit of self-improvement. That's to say a personal commitment to growth. A personal commitment to growth. So you are making a daily commitment that must grow. I talk about something about improvement and evolution. There are two different things. Evolution is growth without intention. Improvement is growth with intention. All are good, but one is intentional, one is not. So this one I'm talking about is improvement, intentional. That say, oh, whatever I'm doing now, I can do better. You are making 2 million every month. Next one, you say I want to make 3 million. Next one to do this. You are actually winning 2 souls from God, but next one you want to do 4. So actually, whatever I do, you are selling 5 bags of rice. So it's about personal improvement, about adding knowledge to yourself, about adding content to yourself. So that is you need to spend all this spirit of team leadership. You say, God, I want to personal improvement. That you do all these things, your mind is already occupied with productivity, with creativity, with concept, with idea. So we need to find space. And devils are looking for idle men because it's moving to and fro, looking for what to kill, steal, and destroy. And you make your vessel available for devil you use. Sure. Devil don't use useless people. They will use quality people because that's it. My man, don't say the man, the man. So, so make your vessel onto honor, onto destruction. So that will like you very well. And people, all this potential waiting inside of him. Put it to the glory of God to become more productive. But you not make state and have access to using you. He will use you very well. And that's the point about using is that people that you are weak will now suffer because of your useless and selfish, destructive ideas and concepts you have. So number 11, well, I'm going to I need to round up this pastor. The spirit of self-discipline. The spirit of self-discipline. Okay. That is a commitment to self-imposed standard and boundaries, a commitment to self-imposed. So the commitment of self-imposed I put it standards and boundaries. Self-imposed standards and boundaries. So if you are you want to get leader, you want to get strong leader that can build an empire, you know that drinking is not bad. But drinking and getting drunk as a leader is bad. Because if I come back and be the God of my children, that means I'm teaching them whether I tell them drink or not. They will also grow up thinking that Drinking and getting drunk and high in front of things, it's not good. What to drink? Close your door. Carry your tea. Maybe your wife for example, drink. But the problem is that when you don't have boundaries, it becomes a problem. It's not even it's not something every day make a habit. It's not too good for your health that you are getting drunk every day. Like one in my first school, drunk after man, after this, about your okay, that is I don't understand. So I'm not lying to you, I'm my place. I'm not lost. From the time they wake up in the morning, they are drinking nights. They wake up in sky and brush mouth. That was not the guy he said. You know, you know. So they don't have any direction, no discipline, no self-imposed boundaries, no self-imposed standard, no limits, no diagnosis, excesses. That's a problem we have management position because it's been very difficult like that. So number 12, the spirit of humility. I know number 12, the spirit of humility. The spirit of humility. So at least I'm just looking at your conscious of self and one's strength and weakness. There are consciousness of one's strength and weakness. So you know these are my strengths, these are my weakness. You know to apply it. You know you need to be proud because God receives the proud to raise the humble. Consciousness of self, one's strengths, consciousness. Consciousness of self, strengths and weakness. So if that must be, you need to trust you, and because if you don't have this perspective of leader, you lead to chaos, you lead to disorganization, it leads to darkness, it leads to problem, it leads to issues you cannot explain, and it leads to putting you on the spot. It leads to come and say what you said. It leads to making you look you will not be proud of yourself. Because what I don't understand that these issues of immorality has been a problem. This issue of manipulating, controlling, is a problem in leadership. Because I don't want us to inherit those Greek philosophers of the philosophy of leadership that makes you suddenly feel that nobody can lead. I'm the only one. That makes you start not seeing because the way you see others determines how you lead them or destroy them. Since you see everybody as a leader, it will define your perspective and your perception, how you deal with people. But you see people as slave, servant, problem, and you too, don't ever look yourself as a servant. Because even though you are serving, they are working. Don't work for money, work for knowledge, work for relationship. At least there are two major things you learn whenever you find yourself working with anyone. Number one, people just number one is the salary. Number one is the money you earn from working with the person, whether salary or allowance or whatever. Number two is how the business person run his empire. The discipline, the ethics, the idea, the concept, making decisions, and how to make quality financial decisions, quality discipline, quality ethics. So there are things, but people don't just want to learn most of the other one. They only work on money. I have issue with money because money is a bad master and a loyal servant. Money does not follow promise. You should not work for money. Work for value instead. Money will follow you because money is a slave of value. Tell them money. Money is a slave. Is a slave of value. Of value. So becoming a strong leader, there's a kind of spirit that dominates you, spirit that actually envelops you. Because if you don't have this, it leads to chaos, it leads to problem, it leads to so many confusion. And that is where the problem is. Confusion will not allow you to move a sense of purpose, a sense of direction. And when confusion sets in, my brother and sister, even your pastor, even the prayer point cannot help you. Because ignorance is the darkest dark of the dark. In fact, this thing I'm telling you now is what happened when God wants to destroy a nation. He allows confusion, chaos to set in. Darkness, disorderliness. I've seen my time is coming, so I'm running around. Disorderliness. He doesn't allow things to work. And you are this is the problem when a man will stand up and nobody respecting him again. He's not trying to listen. Don't you know? I'm the father of this house. That means you lost it already. If you do what a father will do, you become a father to your husband. You know, they introduce yourself. I'm not saying my father introduce himself. I'm not saying I'm not even doing myself my wife. Because the fact is that this perspective of leadership is very important because someone say that it's not my fault. It's not your fault, right? But let me tell you something that happened. Like the moment you start believing things, that means you just render yourself weakness and incapable of changing the circumstances. Be in charge, accept responsibility. Yeah. The first level of change accepts that this is it and own it and will change. That's why it's not a man who just want to learn. Because a man competes against his will.
Opinion still.
I wish I had the luxury of time. Online community, don't get involved in it. This place without a mentor. Mentorship is the new shortcut to success. See you at the top. See you on Monday. Have a wonderful weekend. Shalom. Thank you.